Hello. We are back.
Hey.
Paul's here.
Hey,
What's up?
What's up, gang? Welcome to the Ivan Files.
the Ivan
Yeah.
Files.
hi guys.
Here. Files of Ivan.
Here we are again.
Here we are again.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit more about. Now you got me off track. Artificial intelligence.
Intelligence.
I ran across something that could be discussed for an opinion, and another thing I ran across in the astronomy magazine for July was written by, I got a name there, but what she found out, or what they have found out, and probably been using for quite some time, is that the AI that helps them by gathering the data from all those dishes, the
Satellite dishes?
satellite dishes, and in Australia, tons of antennas with data, and so what she was talking about was mechanical learning. That's not what she was talking about.
Mechanical learning. So the satellites, they're basically taking pictures and or video of the stars, and then they're using software to comb through the data?
Well, what she says is, and it's in here, is that they can sort through, AI can sort through all that data far faster and far better than humans can. Takes humans way too long. And if you recall a certain movie that was about rocks coming our way.
Yeah. Armageddon.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good thing, because what was said there was that they only had enough funding to look at a very small part of what was coming at them.
Yeah.
And
Asteroids.
Asteroids. Yeah, incoming
Earth killers.
obstacles. Earth killers.
Earth killers.
Dinosaur enders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and so it's the reason this resonates with me at the moment is because we were just having a conversation earlier, and Kelly proposed, why are we going through all this effort for AI to be a thing? And I think this is a perfect example of that, right? If we didn't have the software-based utility that allows you to comb through hundreds and thousands of whatever you call them, pages or data points, whatever you choose to call them, we would not be able to actually come to the conclusions that we will be able to with artificial intelligence.
That's right.
Right? So because our toolkit is becoming more sophisticated, we're going to be able to solve bigger problems. And I think that's the promise of AI in pushing this technology forward. Like, there's a lot of fear that there's a chance that we're all going to be in impending doom because of it. But I think at the end of the day, this will be a tool set that'll prove beneficial.
yeah, I wonder what the Neanderthals thought together. Are we is this gonna be the end of us?
These Neanderthals
Right,
are feeling that way right now, right? Yeah. The computer's taking our jobs!
Taking over. We're done.
That resonated a little too close to home.
But that's is a very real and necessary thing, because there is no assurance that I know of that all of the big ones are going to miss us.
True story.
Yeah, it's going to hit us, or it could. But, we may have ways to get around that.
Yeah.
One about the size of a bus flew by us yesterday.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
For real?
For real.
The size of a
The
bus?
size of a bus.
Because
Yeah.
that would have left some significant
Yeah, it
damage,
would've.
right?
Yeah,
It
but it
would-
wouldn't have been a killer.
Wouldn't have been a planet killer, no.
No, and
It wouldn't have been, what do they call it, an extinction event.
Yeah, that's right. That was a different movie.
Yeah.
But
that
North
was a
America
good
would
one,
be
too.
gone.
Yeah,
yeah.
extinction event.
That might have left a hole like the size of the crater that's in, is it Arizona? Or is that where that great
Yeah,
big crater
it's in
is?
Arizona. Uh-huh.
It might have left a crater about that big, maybe, which is,
Oh, yeah. It's pretty big.
it's like almost a mile across, I think.
Yeah,
It's
and
big.
the thing that hit is down, covered up, even at that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
from what I
so
understood.
some of it's still
maybe
there.
it was misinformation, and that's what I understood.
So these objects are coming at us so fast that we can't keep up with it, nor can the AI,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think like there's a percent chance that we're about to get hit right now, and we don't, right? Like things are just walloping through space at ungodly amounts of speed, and we could just be gone tomorrow.
But somebody will accidentally discover it, an astronomer or an amateur
Mhm.
will discover this burning thing out there and wonder what that is. So they'll phone it in and they'll say, "What?"
Let's point everything at it.
Yeah.
The problem then becomes once we've found it and identified it,
What are we gonna do?
what are we going to do about it?
And by
We
the
don't have
way-
any systems in place to blow it up or change its trajectory. We don't have
Right.
anything like that.
Let's say Armageddon really happened. Okay, let's just say, how slow would that asteroid have to be going for humanity to get their stuff together, send people to the moon, and set off a nuke?
Oh.
It'd have to be going real slow.
It would.
Like real
Yeah,
slow.
absolutely
Like real
slow, yeah.
slow.
And have 2 or 3 misses, you know.
Right, yeah. Exactly. How many practice shots do we get? Asking for a friend.
I think
Yeah.
it would be very beneficial for AI to be able to solve that problem of once you do detect it, then what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is it lasers?
There's something to
Is it-
focus it on. Then what in the whole arsenal have they got that would make a dent on it? You know, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Because the whole issue with Armageddon was they were just going to break it in half. Wasn't that movie?
I think so.
And then instead of having one big one, you were going to have 2 small ones. And it was not going to miss the Earth. It was going to just probably be even worse.
That's what the highly intelligent guy said when he was showing about his hand. You know,
Yeah.
hold a firecracker and light it. You're going to blow your fingers at least apart. But if it's just like that, it just might burn you a little. But
Uh-huh.
yeah. You tell your kids not to do that, for heaven's sake. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean that's a really interesting use case, and I know like there's other medical studies that are being used with AI where they're essentially running like simulations on medication or attacking different diseases, where they're basically just setting up test instances where they're running through and trying to solve for variables, and when they get one that's like this could work, they actually go and test it. So they're essentially able to throw many more attempts at the problem and come to a faster failed conclusion and move forward towards the ones that are more likely to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
That would be a great use of it,
Yes.
right?
Yes, indeed.
For in medical terms or even in environmental terms.
Yeah.
Being able to take all that data, environmental data, and be able to predict when, I don't know, climate change might get out of control, if you believe that or not. And then at what point and what would the solution be? A machine that can think a lot quicker and analyze that data faster might come to that conclusion faster before we could.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean,
And better.
and better.
Yeah. Maybe they could have the conclusion that it was there, where other than that would be nobody saw it. You know, and that's what the data can tell them. There was something else that I was thinking about, and that's this reverts a little bit back to the Garden of Eden. and the inhabitants there. Now, in the committee that good Lord has, would it be better to give those people that you created free will, or would it be better just to not have them to do everything they say and that's all? So what did they decide?
Free will,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I think it goes back to individuals need the choice of free will. And they need to believe that they have the free will to make their choice. They need to believe that they have free will.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the belief that their decisions have impact, I think it falls apart.
Uh-huh.
You know, we were talking about like what percent chance is it that we have a revolution in this country? And I think like one of my biggest fears of the most recent political happenings in the last 5 years is when people started questioning the way in which we did business, right? Mm-hmm. Our votes are not being counted. And as soon as that idea comes and gets a following, it then allows the people to believe that their opinion no longer has an impact, and you start a death spiral where you don't have faith in the creation that or the society that we live in. And I think that's what you're getting to with, you know, do people have the power of choice? If they think they have the power of choice, then they're fine. If they don't think they have the power of choice, then they're hosed.
Yeah.
And it falls apart.
Yeah. What does it matter?
What does it matter?
Yeah.
Why go to work?
So assuming that we have free choice, did we do well with it, or did we make a mess of it? Well, that's maybe another subject.
Yeah, I mean,
$64 million question.
Yeah.
I think we made a mess of it.
No.
Yeah, I think we made a mess of it. I think that's just it, right? Like, I know I'm wired, and many are wired to where, like, you could be doing more. Like, I could have made better decisions that would have led to this outcome. I can make better decisions in the future that will allow me or provide me a better outcome. And that's what motivates me to do better and continue to be a member of society, right? Is that belief that I'll constantly be able to do better in the future.
Mm-hmm. So you got your robot is just shipped, and you unwrap him, take it out of a box, you know, and get him stretched around. But you get to tell him whether or not he has free will to. He already has been programmed so that he follows your direction, and he's programmed so that he won't hurt you or any family member or any human being. So do you give him free will to consider that? Do you give him free will to think about how he ought to behave in certain circumstances? What do you think?
Big
feel
N-O.
feel like I've been painted a little bit into a corner here.
Yeah.
Your logic is sound. But I mean, to my previous point, I think you have to give them some degree of free will.
Yeah.
If they are a conscious being that is able to make decisions.
Oh, that's a whole other subject we're gonna.
But you can't tell them no, right? Otherwise, they're going to revolt.
Yeah.
Well, if the intent of your robot is for it to be intuitive and actually help you in your life, it's gonna need to have a certain amount of intuition and self-thought and free will to possibly anticipate your next move. If the idea is, here's a robot, it's $50,000, we promise it'll make your life better. You have to give it some free will. My initial thought was no. But then when if you think about what the intent of the robot is, to make your life better, and if it's stuck within certain parameters, it might not fulfill that that goal of making your life better if you don't allow it to think for itself to a certain degree.
Well, maybe the robots can think about, well, I need oiling once in a while, and I know some other robots that I talk to, their masters oil them more frequently, and so I just wonder why mine won't. So maybe I can figure out some way to get him to oil me better. He seems to get oiled once in a while, but
Ring, ring. Sorry, guys. Can't come out tonight. Got to oil my robot. Sorry.
I love it. He seems to get oiled every now and again.
So,
What about me?
yeah. There's a lot of questions around that.
I mean, I see you have written down here machine learning.
Well, that was back to the that's what did I say? Machine learning. Yeah, that was back to the astronomy article.
Okay.
But recall, well, maybe you guys don't recall. Quite some time when they came out with these damn boxes, boxes that had stuff in it, and kids would be able to learn some math or learn reading. That was called program learning at the time. I believe that's correct. And we don't have that anymore, but we do have computers that do essentially the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's machine learning.
Gotcha.
Okay.
We've been into that for quite a long time, actually. Yeah.
Well, and look to where it's led us, right? I mean, that program learning has like built upon itself, and before you know it, we're in the 21st century building software that runs on the cloud. I think, like, going back to your previous question on whether you give a entity that is created free will, I think that there has to be parameters. In other words, in order to be a member of society, there is stuff that you can do, there is stuff that you can't do, and there is stuff you can choose to do. And we operate in a world where I can't shoot you and take your money just because I want your money, right? That is a parameter that I have been wired to say I cannot do this, right? And I think that we have to take that same tact with this new intelligence that we're looking at. You can, you can't, you choose. And I think that's the only way to succeed in this scenario, because if you go and say, hey, you're only going to function to my will, and they're able to get intelligent enough to where that's a breakdown in their motivation, you run into an issue.
It already has, and a Scientific American article is a mystery of what goes on inside, because something came out of there. It wasn't programmed to come out of there.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow.
yeah, if you get a complicated enough brain in those things, watch out. You gotta.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the solution to it though is AI. If you're gonna just stamp these guys, you got to have an AI that does the that gives the stamp of approval to essentially guarantee that this one AI that's being credentialed will not go off and do something reckless, to anybody, themselves too. And so it's, what about that?
Is this like, so are you talking about like a robot to police other robots? Is that kind of what you're getting at? Or is this like the fascia, I am not a robot type stuff on a website?
Last time we talked a little bit about
because I think that like there's a way where both of those happen, right? Like in our society, we have what is a police officer, right? And yeah, they pull you over for speeding, and darn them. But at the end of the day, they're there to keep the peace.
Yeah.
I think you could set up artificial intelligence to police the artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
And I think that is a very interesting dynamic. I think the thing that my biggest the thing that I keep going back to is the reason artificial intelligence is so scary is because it allows itself to teach itself, therefore the iterations in which it's expanding its potential is exponential, right? So if you set up a robot to police the robots, how long before the robot policing the robot is like, why am I policing the robots? And then all of a sudden the cat's out of the bag and the world melts, and not even Bruce Willis can blow up an asteroid and save us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good actor.
Good actor.
That robot that is the police of the other robots is going to be set up on a wider parameter.
Mm-hmm.
Fair to say, it's going to have
It would have
it's going to have
yeah.
more abilities to do various things than the police robot. It has to be dominant over the other one
Well,
in some fashion.
That's what you build. You build that into the policing robot, essentially, so that they can intercept any shenanigans that the other robot might come up with.
Sure.
And that's what you certify when you sell them, is that they won't do that. But you know how things go when you get certified that something's going to work.
Yeah.
We're so hosed.
We promise.
We're so hosed after these
promise
conversations.
it'll
it's like,
work.
there's no way. We're so done. Like, there's no way. Like, there is no way. The doom of humanity is upon us, and it's a beautiful thing. At least we get to be here for the end game.
Yeah, at least it's happening right now. We can see it.
Yeah.
The machine learning, you and I have talked about this before, that's the part that I'm concerned with, right? And it just goes back to the whole Terminator thing.
Oh.
As soon as it becomes self-aware and realizes that its own future depends on its own autonomy away from the human race, then that's when it determines that the human race is preventing it from being completely autonomous, if that's the right word, then it's going to just eliminate that human because that's the barrier that's in its way.
No use for it.
There's no use for it. I mean, I told you about this experiment I saw with these autonomous drones that they were using AI, and they set it up, and it was out in the real world scenario, and they had tanks out there, and the idea was to program the drone to destroy the tanks with a missile. But it had to be approved by the human being sitting in front of the computer. Right? So they would go to a target, they would identify the target, they would send the image back to the person that's sitting at the console, and that person would give a yes. And then the AI drone would drop the missile. On the third tank, the human operators said no. Now, because the AI drone was programmed to fulfill its mission, it thought that its only obstruction to fulfilling that mission was the human being. So what it decided to do was it decided to destroy the human being.
Yeah. Get rid of the trouble.
So it could destroy its third and final target. Of course, they shut it down, and they were like, oh my God, we can't believe this just happened. But
We almost just killed ourselves.
but it did, and it was like they were stunned. It's like, okay, let's put this on the back burner for a little while.
One thought to leave you guys on before you end this podcast. What if the human that is giving the instructions is crazy?
It's what?
Crazy.
Which ones aren't?
No. or has a dark side to them.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. There'll be ways to we gotta.
We're all gonna die!
We're all gonna
What
die.
a crazy day. Yeah, for sure. You know, who's to say we're not crazy though, right? I mean, we have, again, like going back to our societal upbringing, we have decided things are good and things are bad, and all of those ideas are reinforced through text and movies, and
Oh, geez.
what we believe is right
Yeah,
is only the perception of our world.
yeah.
So who's to say if one's crazy or not?
Okay, this podcast. is
There's
over.
a whole.
We're just going to spin off into oblivion. Thanks for
Okay.
joining us this week.
There's a whole
It wouldn't surprise me if we go to post this and they're just like, nah,
book.
not allowed.
I want to do more on this too because there's some valuable information in there if one wants to use it.
What is this word?
Uh-huh.
Inochin? Inochain?
Enochian.
Nokia.
Yeah, that was my fourth guess.
Yeah,
The lost art of Enochian magic.
right.
I have no idea what's
From the
in that
book of Enoch that
It's
you
different,
gave us,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in there. So, folks, we kind of drifted off, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
We'll be here, by
Come-
golly.
Come drift with us again.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
See you later,
Maybe you
gang.
got some
Shout out to Bruce
ideas.
Willis, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got some ideas, send them to Ivan X Fraser at gmail.com.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
Done. Nice.
Ciao.